All right, my friends, welcome back to the Irons United channel. We are back for another match day preview. We've got West Bromwich Albion this coming weekend. I'm joined by Cess and Luke for today's episode. Before we crack on with that, though, a match day review did go up last night at a Huddersfield game. West Ham winning 2-0, and I just want to get Luke and Cess's take on the game. All three of us went. It's only going to be very, very quick, and then we're going to crack on with the West Brom review. So I'll go to you first, Cess. Let me know what you thought of the game. I know you went. So let me have your take.
Well, first of all, to say I was not confident at all. I was very worried. I was worried about the atmosphere and what things was going to turn out to be with all the recent stuff that's been happening, as when the transfer window ended, the whole William Carvalho situation, the whole email stuff. It just seemed like it was just a complete and utter shambles. And it didn't help with all everyone on social media being absolutely irate of how things was handled. And I was just worried about the toxic atmosphere and being all hostile. But to be fair, it was the complete opposite. As soon as the whistle went, it was literally from the off. We just literally stuck it on Huddersfield. And I was shocked myself because we was all over him, really, to be honest. We felt that we controlled the game. I felt that many of our players stepped up when Bilic needed them the most because Bilic was so under pressure. You can imagine that if you imagine if he lost that game, I thought Bilic would have been done if he lost that game.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But
I think he'd have been out of a job.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, I thought many players, as I said, they stepped up. I thought Zabaleta, putting a wing back, I was like, I don't know about that, but he was immense. He was ridiculous. Antonio, I thought he was insane as well. Obiang, he had a good game. Also, Fonte surprised me as well. I thought I've been his critic as well. I'm not gonna lie, but I thought he stepped up tonight as well. Even Collins as well. He's still going on. I love Ginge. I love Ginge to bits, man. He's a warrior on that pitch, man. And also the thing that got me when Hernandez come off, you could have heard the boos. It was just like everyone. I didn't even know what happened. I literally went to the toilet. I come up the stairs. All I heard was substitution for West Ham, and Hernandez was coming off, and I heard "Are you?" I turned around, went what? Literally, everyone was just looking around. Went, what? Are you serious? I lost my head. I couldn't believe it because I'm not Iri's biggest fan. I felt that he gets lost at the games at times. I felt that he's a passenger, but I turned to the guy behind me. I was like, you know what's going to be funny? I bet he does something or scores or something. And then what happens? He sits and he actually scores as well. So, but overall, I can't complain, to be honest.
If I could just jump in there, I must admit, when the Hernandez was coming off, I was sitting there and I was irate, I really fucking lost it. And I was sat there with my mate and I was going to him, we need a goal. He takes our most natural finisher off. I can't believe he's bringing on this donkey eye. He's a load of shit. And the geezer in front of me turns around and he went, totally agree. You sound quite wise. You sound like you do this for a living. And I went, mate, honestly, it's awful. And then obviously 10 minutes later, Ayew pops up and scores. Me and that geezer were sitting there looking at each other like, I cannot believe this. This is going to be awful. I've got to take to YouTube later and talk about this. This is awful. But I don't know. What did you think, Luke? You were at the game as well.
I think it was one of them games to start off with where there's been loads of things going on with deadline day and the transfers and everything. I think it was tension around the ground, tension towards the game. And I think when the team was coming out, we've been hearing quite a few things on Twitter that Bilic was going to go all-out attack. He was going to go for the goals, he was going for the win. I think it's a last hurrah because he might be even thinking, well, even if I win this game, if we snatch it, it's not good enough. They might think, well, the performance isn't good enough. So when we saw the team come out, 3 forwards and then the 3 at the back, I couldn't work out exactly which way it was going to go. I mean, 2 midfielders, and we think, well, who's going to run the midfield then? As it turns out, we weren't going to use the midfield at all. Because I don't remember many times Chiarte and Obiang got on the ball. And then Hernandez left wing. I'm sorry, but we won the game yesterday, but never again can he play left wing. Because not only, he done well, but you're missing out on the guy's talent. The talent is a poacher. I mean, Carroll did more on the wing than he did. There's a times when he was on the right wing and he's just pulling the ball back. And I lost count in the amount of times where the defenders couldn't get anywhere near him. He'd pop across him better than Creswell and he'd go from there. And I think from that game perspective of needing a result, got performance as well. You can't moan at that. Performance was there as well. But fundamentally, that team played well. They played really, really well. But that is a one-game formation. I don't think you can play it too many times. And West Brom would just carve you open with that set piece.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, couldn't agree more with that. You can't play Hernandez on the win.
No, can't do it again. But you know, we won 2-0, and now you did shut everyone out, including myself, because I couldn't believe that either. But you know, things that happen. That's what I stand for. You know, when you don't think it's going to happen, they surprise you, and when you do think it's going to happen, they let you down. Normally, so
that's true.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've obviously got my own channel as well, and I do a Premier League preview, and I had West Ham losing that game on mine, so I was made to eat my words.
Eat that humble
pie. I just weren't confident going into that game at all. Good performance from the boys. Got the job done. Got the win for Bilic. I think that's the main thing. I think that's the loudest I've heard that stadium other than the Spurs game in the first 20 minutes.
There was a good around me as well, saying the atmosphere wasn't at all. There was a dull atmosphere. It wasn't a dull atmosphere at all. The fans were right behind the players from start and finish. It was a great atmosphere last night. It was like a Chelsea game.
I was worried about the atmosphere, to be honest with you, because I thought it was going to be all doom and gloom. It's been tense. It's not been a good summer really for us, is it? It's the board caused more problems than they're worth, really. The fans are not happy with them, and I thought it was going to be awful over there. Yeah, well, you know, I've spoke plenty about how I feel about them, but you know,
that's another separate video.
It's completely. But you've got to give it to the fans. You know, there's one thing you can always rely on is the West Ham fans, and they did get behind the team and they did push them forward in that first half. But overall, though, good performance. I don't see why you spend £16 million on a striker and stick him out on the left wing. But hopefully it won't happen
again. Desperation.
I hope it don't happen again. We can't do that.
I think it was just a case of we need Carroll in a team. He's going to bully their defence, and you know, but you still need the finishers on there. But let's hope it don't happen again. But moving forward from Huddersfield, we go from a positive, and can we keep the good times going against West Bromwich Albion? Where do you think the danger lies? I'll go to you first, Luke, on this one. Where do you think the danger lies with West Brom? Where do you think they can hurt us?
Obviously, set pieces. You know, that's Pulis's main game, and he's going to try and play no football at all. And he's going to catch us on any free kicks, any corners we're going to have. And I know I've just said don't play the formation again, but possibly we will have to play three at the back again with fullbacks because we're going to need to be defending as much as possible. Pulis will expect us to probably go out there and attack a bit more because we've got the wind behind us, that impetus to go forward and attack and get some more points and get our season up and running. But, I mean, okay, don't play Hernandez on the wing, but maybe if we'd done something where we have Antonio and Creswell as wingers more, because Antonio was amazing last night on the wings. I mean, he bossed it completely. But we're gonna have Carroll. I mean, the thing about Carroll is the fantastic thing about Carroll is we go against him a lot of times is the fact that he's a great defender as well as a forward. So if you have him up for corners, he's gonna be heading everything more than probably Collins and Fonte will. So for set pieces, we've got to try and work out a system where we just don't let anything come West Brom's way. But that's West Brom. That's what they're going to be going for their entire game. So maybe we've got to look at something in the midfield. So maybe put one more in the midfield rather than just having Kyoto and Obiang. As good as they are, we're going to be need to spread play out a different way. I'm not too sure on that one yet. But maybe switch it up a bit.
I definitely agree with that. And, you know, I think the big thing as far as West Brom are concerned, they're a good defensive unit. I don't know if Carroll's going to have the same effect on West Bromwich Albion's defence as he did Huddersfield. Yeah, that's the plays, obviously. We're expecting a lot out of him, haven't we? 2 games in a week. But if he plays, will he have the same effect? I don't know what you think, Cess. Do you think, you know, Carroll can do a job against West Brom the same way he did against Huddersfield?
I think, personally, with the way that West Brom sets out, I think, from my personal opinion, I think we should go like 3-4-3 again, but I think we should save Carroll on the bench or something, because you've got to think, I think Arnautovic is coming back, from suspension.
I think
so you could have Antonio on the wing and then have Arnautovic the other side, and then put Hernandez up front, and then just you could switch it with like Carroll as like a super sub or something, just to come on like the last 20 minutes. So, you know, Carroll ain't probably fully fit, so I think we could save him. And the way West Brom set out, you know, look who the signings they've got. They've got that Krikoviak, they've got Livermore, Gareth Barry. So if that's not setting out for like a Pulis 1-0, I don't know, because
But then again, that's Pullis, and he beat us 4-0 last year at the same game. So
that's the thing, yeah. It's a West Brom is a weird one, yeah. It is a weird one. They are very dodgy. They are very, very dodgy to us because we seem to either get it right with West Brom, like beating them 3-0, or we just get absolutely demolished, like 4-0 or 4-2. It's a weird one, West Brom. But...
Well, they got the 2-2 as well, didn't they? At home.
Exactly.
At home. Last minute, bloody header. I was at that game and I was it was awful, you know, like
Gareth
seconds.
It was Macaulay, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The thing about it is about 5 supporters behind me going, there's a goal here. I'm saying there's a goal here. Going, shut up, be positive. We're going to get this. It was like, went in, and I did turn around. I said, fair play, boys, because you got me. Should have had a bet on that one, but that was horrible.
Didn't West Brom have the most goals from set pieces, or was it?
They're known for
something like that.
Yeah. I mean, Allardyce has made a career out of long balls. I think Pullis has made a career out of set pieces. I think Stoke were more the same sort of team when he was there as well.
Yeah, the worst thing about that 2-2, I had Gareth Macaulay in my team as well, my fantasy team. I was just like, I'm so angry. But then I looked at my phone and I was like, yeah, I'm top of the league at the moment. So
stuff your fantasy team. Okay, about West Ham, your fantasy team, all right? Winning 3 points, not your 3 points. I know,
that's the same. Sorry, man. Money was on the line, man. That's what I'm saying.
I get that.
Well, obviously, with that being said, set pieces, do you stay with the 3 at the back and the 2 wing backs? I think it worked well last night. I feel like that's the best game I've seen Fonte play for us personally as well. Yeah. I think he looks far more comfortable when there's a 3 at the back. I think Ginge has to keep his place. Reed has to keep his. We'll talk more about that a bit later. But do you feel like that's going to be the best way to deal with the set pieces? Having 3 centre backs, 3 men that are capable of dealing with balls in the air. I throw that at you, Cess, and then maybe you can let me know what you think as well, Luke. After that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think we should stick with the formation that we played against Huddersfield. I think it would work well with having 3 Fonte and Ginge. I think they would deal with all the aerial threats of West Brom. But I think with that formation, I think you can only play that against certain teams. You can't be playing 3 at the back at the likes against Liverpool or City, because we'll just get carved open like nothing. Can you imagine play 3 in the back against Liverpool, having Salah, Mane and Firmino running at you, or Aguero, Sane and Gabriel Jesus running at you? They'll tear you to pieces. So I think you could play with certain teams, but not a team with complete and utter pace as it will just get destroyed. That's how I feel.
What about you, Luke?
Well, first of all, I think we've got to remind Creswell that he's taking every corner. He seemed to forget halfway through the game last night. I think we're going, is Creswell really going to take every single corner? He's good at him, don't blame me, but I looked at him last night and I've got 3, I'm thinking, okay, he's taking him again. He's taking him again. In the second half, I think maybe the corner before IU scored, where it took about 20 seconds for someone to make their way towards the corner to take it. And then Creswell was like, "Oh, it's me again." So it looked that way. I don't know if it is that way, but maybe he's the only player that can really ping a ball in like him. There's no one else in the team really that obviously now Lanzini's out. Maybe if Inautovich has got something in him, I don't know. But look, the 3 at the back we've got Reed, Collins, and Fonte on their day. They can head a ball. That's a great technique they've all got. Sometimes Fonte's got a bit of 50p head on him. It's a bit, it can go anywhere. Collins, I don't know if he's ever missed a target with a header. Reed just likes, I think, headbutting people as well when he's in the box. Which he's a bit of a worry, a bit of a Kiwi. So he's got that in him. But I think if we're going to beat them, if we're going to get anything out of them, maybe don't just play their game, because they're going to be looking to defend from set pieces as much as attack from set pieces. So we can keep the 3 at the back, it's not a problem, but it's when we go forwards, it's Zabaleta and Creswell, they're wingers, but they're going to be looking for that as well. So maybe keep 3 at the back for just defending, because they're going to be popping balls in the box, they're going to be non-stop. But maybe don't make it as obvious, because after a while, if they start to learn that we're just going to be waiting for it, they can switch it up. I don't think Huddersfield were really that. I don't think Huddersfield were really that bothered last night. I think they're just going to keep doing their game non-stop, play for the draw maybe, and then that allowed us to eventually get a goal, eventually get a lucky deflection from Obiang, which started hold off. But I'm not too sure every team is going to let us do that for 90 minutes. No. Maybe the second half they'll switch it up. So I don't know. I'm just happy from last night. So if we keep playing like that and getting the result from that, then I'm happy for the next few games at least.
Yeah, I think Pulis, obviously, he's an astute manager. He's not stupid. He knows how the Premier League works. He will have watched that game last night as well and learned what we're like, because it was very one dimensional at times. Centre back picks it up. If there's pressure on him, I'll pass to the other centre back, stick it up there, hoofball. And we all have to remember as well, we moaned about this football under Allardyce, but everyone seemed all right with it last night.
I didn't. I've got to hold my hands up. I didn't really. I kind of thought, well,
it weren't nice to watch, but people didn't moan as much last night, and I think I
was happy West Ham getting results every week in the Championship. That's what I was kind of going. Yeah, we're winning. We're winning. I don't care how we play. We're winning. You know what I mean? So yeah, got a bit bored after a while, but yeah, at the start it worked. Yeah.
But yeah, no, he's an astute manager. I think he would have watched that, and I think that he'll set up in a way to defend Carroll if he's going to play.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I think it'll be easy for West Brom if we attack it the same way we did Huddersfield. Yeah. I think we would be silly not to play, three at the back though, the three centre backs with, obviously West Brom's prowess in the air, how good they are from set pieces. I think you've got to stick with that. Yeah. Maybe not the full formation. I think up top we need to be a little more. It needs to be more organised. I think we need to go two up top rather than poor old Hernandez having to float out on the wings. But at the back, I think we've got to stay the same because we've got to counteract, West Brom's strengths, which is obviously their set pieces. They're coming off the back of a loss, a disappointing loss as well. I didn't see them.
Acca, man.
It ruined mine. As well,
Acca,
mate.
I was fuming.
I didn't do one of the right.
Time I stick West Brom in, I look at him like Brighton 3-0. I just literally just launched my slip and just went, what, screw this. And Peter.
That's normally me. Yeah.
I think it ruined a few people's Accas, that one.
For your pain.
They're coming off the back of a disappointing loss. They are going to be at home. They are a lot better at home. They had a 1-0 specialist as well. So what is it going to take for us to break them down? Who do you think the key men are going to be going into this weekend's fixtures? I'll go to you first, Luke, and then you can let me know, Cess.
I think it's one of them games where last night every man was a key man. And I think it was one of them games where every player had to play up to their standards, above and beyond. The next game, because you got that win and you got that relief of, yes, finally got 3 points, and we got players coming back, such as Hernandez himself, Arnautovic, sorry. Carroll's the obvious one, so they're going to know about him. Hernandez is someone, I don't know how they've obviously suffered with small, quick, nippy strikers and poachers before, but I feel that he's probably, with his talent as well and his experience in the league, we need to get a formation going where maybe we put the balls in the box at his height. So we're not just chucking balls in the box hoping Carroll gets on the end of them. We chuck them at a lower height so that Hernandez can get on the end of them. Also, Antonio, I'm sorry, but Antonio is probably for me one of the most underrated players in the team. He does the work of 2 or 3 men, and last night Huddersfield can handle him. I doubt, as strong as West Brom are, I don't think I've seen a team cope with Antonio since we signed him at all. It's going to be a battle of wits. I think we can say the team is as strong physically as the next team and whatever. And the West Brom obviously going to have massive. But West Brom got no skill players. There's no skill player in the team who can unlock a defence like Lanzini maybe can, or Arnautovic maybe can. But if you're talking about key players, I'd say Hernandez definitely with his poachers to his talents. But as always, as everyone said, if you've got a player like Hernandez, especially in modern football, you have to give him service. Mm-hmm. So last night he was never getting any service. He was stuck at the left wing. It can't happen again, and possibly just play the ball for the midfield because it's not going to be predictable as width play, getting crosses in. So that's the only Hernandez maybe and Antonio for me really.
Yeah. What about you, Cess?
I couldn't agree more. I was about to say Hernandez and Antonio, but also I'd say in terms of area where it's going to be key, I think the midfield is got to be the key.
Yeah.
It depends what players we set out. What 5 players? Well, I say we go 3-5-2 personally. I think the midfield is the key. It depends who we play in the midfield, especially the middle as well, because that's where the midfield battle. Because someone's got to handle Gareth Barry, Gwykowiak, and Livermore. So I think it depends who we play in that middle as well. And it's also with the service as well to Hernandez. If we're going to play him up front on his own, he's going to need the service as well. So that's how I feel, personally.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you've got to dominate the midfield. You've got to try to dominate possession, but use it positively, because West Brom they're known. Like, I don't know, was it their last 2 home games? They had an average of 28% possession. They're known for just being out of the defend well, soak it up, and then hit teams on the counter, hope for a free kick or a corner. That's usually where they hurt the teams. We've got to nip that in the bud. We can't give away too many free kicks. I think, like yourself, Cess, I do think the midfield's the key area. I think if we play 3 at the back, I think they'll be strong enough to be able to deal with West Brom's threats. You've touched upon it. Like, you look at their midfield, Gareth Barry and Krikoviak, they're both holding players. So straight away they're showing you how they're setting up. They're playing their cards straight away, aren't they, from the off? And you're not going to bring in 2 players like that and not play them either, and not use them. Whether or not they go for it, I very much doubt it. I do think it's going to be a case of we'll probably be the more attacking team. They're trying to hit us on the counter. We've got to score early. I think that's how we win this game. We make the most of the strikers that we've got, and we've got to go 2 through the middle. And sort of talking and touching upon sort of like the players that are going to be involved, the tactics we're going to use. Do you think that we stick with the same tactics? Do you think we tweak it slightly in? Would you change anyone from the team that just played against Huddersfield? I'll go to you first, Cess. You let me know what you think about that. Would you change anyone? Would you change the tactics slightly? Obviously, we know Arnautovic is coming back.
If we're going to stick with like the same formation and tactics of Huddersfield, we've got to bring Arnautovic in with Antonio on the other wing, and then have Hernandez up front. Because I think if we put Carroll up front, they're going to know how to deal with him straight away, because they know what Carroll was like. Whereas, I'd feel that they will struggle more with Hernandez, because he's like, his movement, he's very tricky. Like, he's very clever how he moves and how he gets into the boxes and gets the spaces and stuff. Yeah. But it really does depend on how we set out, to be honest.
What about you, Luke?
Well, I think I've probably thought about 3 different parts we can sort of play, really. I mean, I did say when I started off, don't play that formation again, and I went back on my words about 5 minutes later. Yeah. So I'm a bit undecided, really. I think it's a really, really tough game, and I think, in my opinion, it's great because Arnautovic is back. This is the big one for me, because I think we played the team really that it's because he's not playing. We played that formation basically because Hernandez was out on the wing and he wouldn't play that again. We need to keep the 2 midfield. So I wouldn't bring Noble. I don't know what's happening with Noble, really. I did hear a few rumours that he's actually injured last night rather than just dropped or whatever.
Yeah, apparently he was limping on his way to the stadium.
I heard he was injured, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of Noble anymore. I've just put it out there. I think he's a great bloke. He's probably a very good captain, but I think he actually slows us down quite a lot. And I think last night it actually helped the fact that he wasn't involved with any forward movements or coming back, which it sounds harsh to Mr. West Ham, but I don't.
We had more energy. We had a lot more energy in the centre of park.
Yeah, agreed. And I think that. So I think keep Albion. I keep the midfield as it is. Maybe put one more in there. Maybe making out a bit more of a central attacking midfielder rather than just a solid winger. And keep Creswell as a left winger, fullback. But try as much as possible to just keep Hernandez as a solid forward. Don't make him come back like he has been doing for the first 3 games. And last night, I don't think he got, apart from the time he hit the crossbar, was the only time he actually got anywhere near the box. So possibly just make it sort of more, keep the defence as it is, 3 at the back, and then make the midfield a bit more congested. But Fernandez up there, so you got an Albion possibly in the midfield, like a Lanzini kind of area, especially when we're attacking Antonio on the wing, and then just keep Obiang and Kyoto running the midfield for a defence midfielder. But I'm not. It's a bit of a weird one, especially with Carroll playing so well as well. And I think for me, Carroll can play anywhere. Last night he played about 3 different positions and he bossed them all. So he's a man of a lot of tricks. That guy, I tell you. He's like Crouch. He's a big man with good feet. So we'll see what happens.
The one thing I did like last night.
Trust.
The one thing I did like last night was the way he was drifting out wide and the diagonal balls, because they were harder to defend for Huddersfield. When it was just lumped straight, it was too easy. You could see they were double teaming him, but when you start pulling people wide, and especially fullbacks, they're usually a bit smaller than your centre back. They just couldn't deal with him. We could use that to our advantage maybe. But as far obviously we've discussed the tactics. We're probably not going to change much there. Like so, if we go from like 1 to 11, we'll break the team down on who we think should play, where maybe they should play. Are we all agreed that Joe Hart probably starts in goal? You know, he's kept a clean sheet. I think that's his first
he was terrible last night. He was terrible, wasn't he?
It was his first clean sheet in 22 games, believe it or not.
One save he made.
Wait, seriously? Was it?
Yeah. That was his first. It was only his second clean sheet of in 22 games or something mental like that. I read.
Is this counted like his last season on loan to Torino, or is this like in the
He conceded like 70 odd goals at Torino or something. It's mental.
Oh,
everyone really rates him because it's like Joe Hart. He's got a lot of England caps, and he's command.
I'm not a Hart fan. I'm putting out there. I'm not a Hart fan. I'm really not.
Actually, not. He doesn't actually keep them in the sheets. So are we agreed he keeps his place though because he didn't keep a clean sheet?
Yes.
Yeah, it gives him confidence. Let's be honest. It gives him confidence. So
it'll be good for him. I'm pretty sure we're all agreed that Zaba, if we're going with a similar formation, I'm pretty sure we're all agreed Zaba keeps his place. He was immense last night.
Yes,
absolute brick.
Yeah, he was excellent. I can't believe at 32, 33, he's up and down that wing the way he is. He's just. I'm the same age as him. I ain't.
Yeah, really.
I know he looks a lot older than me. To be fair, though, doesn't
he? He's lost a lot of air since joining us. I must admit, he's the stress of joining us. I think he's definitely take it off. Yeah. We've seen no one's got bad.
I think Cresswell keeps his place at left back.
I think so too. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think the whole defence keeps their place. To be honest.
Yeah. We go with. I think
you got to really. You got to. Team sheet and all that.
Yeah, they were all immense, weren't they? End of the day. Pretty sure the two centre midfielders are going to keep their place. I don't know if you two agree with that, but I thought, he had a lot of energy in there. And
yeah, I think they need help more, though, when going forward. I think, you're asking last night, Chiari, to just keep making his box-to-box runs. And I think after a while, he was going, well, their midfield is quite good, actually. He's a bit outnumbered. So I think maybe get, like I said, an Arnautovic, maybe attacking midfield. But I don't know, but maybe we'll go that way, yeah.
And really, it's the front line really where it gets interesting. Who plays on the wings? Who plays through the middle? There's plenty of spots taken up there already. So who are we going with? I think obviously Antonio. He keeps his place. Yeah, I think he was unbelievable last night. Unplayable at times. Like I actually sat there and I looked at my mate who I go with, and I went, if we are doing shit in January, don't be surprised if someone like Liverpool come in. He was unbelievable last night. That's to be fair, that's him every game. That's him every single game. I don't think he's had one bad game for us, and that's just testament to who he is. And I think it'd be a massive shout to finally actually get in. It's fine being called up to the England squad, but actually get in the game for him is a different matter. And there's no reason why he shouldn't be.
He should be in the England squad, to be honest. He should be playing. I'll be honest.
He's one of the most consistent players in the league. He's.
Wingers definitely, yeah.
And we miss him so much. And yeah, obviously, like we do miss him when he's injured. He's such a big part of our team. So yeah, he keeps his place. What I liked about him last night as well, he was roaming all over the gaff. He didn't just stick to one wing. He was coming inside and he was trying to make things happen. If we could get a couple more players like him trying to make more happen, and I think we'd be a far better unit up top. But yeah, he was brilliant. He definitely is. So. Definitely. I think the biggest thing is, do we go, does maybe Antonio play as a cam and then we go 2 strikers, or do we go with a left winger and a striker? And if the case, then who plays left wing and who plays up top? What are we thinking here?
You guys, Cess.
I don't know. I have a feeling he's going to stick with the same formation as Huddersfield. So I think if by saying that, he's going to go Antonio on the left, bring in Arnautovic. Not on the left, on the right. What am I saying? What am I talking about? Antonio on the right. He'll bring in Arnautovic. He'll come in on the left and then put Hernandez up front. Yeah, that's what I think he's going to do. But he could, like you said, he could go with Antonio as the number 10 role and then put Carroll and Hernandez, because I think Carroll and Hernandez as a partnership could be deadly.
Oh yeah,
it could be deadly.
It's got so much potential. It's whether or not he's brave enough to do it, because you see the Premier League is one of them leagues where you don't see many striker partnerships anymore. It's usually one up top, two very attacking wingers, and usually an attacking midfielder with a really good delivery. You know, I was surprised with City at the weekend that, you know, if there's a team in the league that some others could learn from, it's that they've got two really good finishers. They both played through the middle. And don't get me wrong, I know they've got a far better team than us. I'm in no way trying to say we are Manchester City at all. But, you know, they played with two wide players. They played with De Bruyne behind. De Bruyne was unbelievable. And it's because, the wingers were pulling the pressure away from him. He had so much time on the ball. And I think when Lanzini comes back, that might be an avenue we will have to go down, because, you know, we'll touch upon that in a minute, because I want to talk about where does Lanzini's future lie with the way we played last night, and, you know, with the players playing so well. But so we're going with either Arnautovic coming in on the left, and then probably Carroll or Hernandez, probably Hernandez up top. But if not, maybe the two could play together if Bilic gets a little brave. But like I did just say, Lanzini is obviously out injured at the moment. Is he going to struggle to get back in the team? I know he's an absolute baller. He's probably, other than Antonio, he's probably one of our best players. But we played quite well last night. We looked far better defensively, solid in the midfield. Do we risk playing him centre mid, dropping him back a little, and then it's just Obiang or Koyate, or does he come back in his natural role as a cam, supporting the striker? We'll go to you first, Luke. You tell me what you think about, you know, Lanzini's troubles getting back in the squad.
Lanzini 100% walks back into that team every day of the week. We're looking at it now as everyone's got to play. We've got to play all our players. Everyone's got to play. Boom, boom, boom. Starting lineup. If you looked at that subs bench last night, there's at least 3 defenders in there, and for at least start of the season, there's been about 1 or 2, like one midfield and 1 forward, or 2 forwards and no midfield in the subs bench. And Bilic has been brought up on it before, and he's been saying, well, I've got so many injuries and this, that and the other, that he can't put many more players, not even youngsters, on the bench. So you've got a guy like Lanzini, who, in my opinion, took over very well from Payet in the second half of last season. And has been brought up to the Argentina squad and blah, 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 blah. But we've got a team now, when fit, I mean, especially now Carroll and Saka are back fit enough so we can play them, we can have to bench someone. So we can bench people now. And they may not be happy about it, but they've got to man up and get on with it, because they paid a lot of money to do it. So, like last night, I mean, I know that he's a great player, but I never want to see him on the wing again. So hopefully Arnautovic or someone can come on to the wing. And then we bring on, maybe we drop Hernandez maybe for the start of the game, or we drop Carroll for the game and bring him on for impact sub 60 minutes in or something. But Lanzini has to play, because Lanzini is our most creative player. Antonio, as great as he is, hasn't quite got that creativeness in him where he can beat players, he can push past 2 or 3 players. Last night I saw it a number of times, where he just bashed the ball forward and just sprint after the ball, and the defenders couldn't handle him at all. But that's wing play. He can't really do that in the centre midfield unless there's a gap. Lanzini, when you watched him, I lost count of last season. I watched Lanzini run through defenders and go, he won't beat them. Yes. It was like shocking. He's like, you don't realise actually how good he is at dribbling. He's like our Messi. So we were missing that last night. So that was just balls to Carroll, balls on the wing. And Zini walked straight back in because he's our most creative player, fundamentally. So for me, on a day up top, if you're going to go 4-4-2, you put Carroll and Hernandez up front. That's no worries. You put Lanzini on the left, Antonio on the right, and have Obiang and Koyate holding. If you want to go with one up front, you pick between either Carroll or Hernandez. It's a tough decision, but you're going to have to make the decisions. Arnautovic on the left, Antonio on the right, Lanzini just behind, with, again, Obiang and Koyate holding. Had we signed Carvalho, maybe he would have gone in instead of Obiang or Koyate, whatever happened. But it didn't happen, so that's the team we've got right now. We've got luxury at this point now, holding, fingers crossed this week we get no injuries and whatever. We've got a luxury now where we can actually pick some more players for the bench who are decent quality. Yeah. So Lanzini, I know I've droned on a little bit, but Lanzini does for me walk straight back into that.
Yeah, it's a nice headache. It's a nice headache for the club to have. Definitely, I'm of the same opinion. I think he has to be in the squad. He's our best creative player, and I don't know if you lads agree, but our shocking with the free kicks last night. There were a couple that were perfect for Lanzini, and we need him just for that sort of stuff as well. Yeah. And I agree with what you said about Antonio there, Luke. Like he's an out-and-out winger. Knock it, past the player, run after it 20 yards. If he improves his final ball, he becomes one of the best wingers in the league. Yeah. Definitely. I think that just lets him down a little bit. But yeah, I do think Lanzini walks back in. Do you agree with that, Cess?
Yeah, I can't really add to that because you've all just basically just summed up. You just basically summed up what I was going to say. He does definitely walk. Without a shadow of doubt, walked in that team because he basically is our only creative player, which unfortunately it's a shame that we didn't do something in the transfer window to get like more depth into the squad, because I've been crying out for that more depth into the squad. But for now, we just have to make do with what we got because of our mishaps at the moment.
If they'd have got the Carvalho deal done, then we would have had a second creative player because he's an absolute baller. Exactly. I watch a lot of football from around the world, and he's up there. He's really good. And I think the difference with him to Lanzini is he plays deep and he creates from deep. And he honestly, he can put a ball on a sixpence, mate, from 60 yards.
Don't make it worse, please.
But that's why I was so gutted. That's why I was so gutted we didn't get him. Because he's unbelievable. Ronaldo rates him. End of the day, if Ronaldo says you're a baller, you're a baller.
Just January, hopefully January. But
we can only hope in January.
That's going to happen with like the old the Dildo Brothers comment. That was.
Well, we've talked about this game, the squad, the players we're going to go with till we're blue in the face, and it leaves us really with the all-important thing from all three of us, and it's how we think the game's going to go. So I will start with you, Cess. Let me know what you think, what the score's going to be, maybe who the scorers are going to be, and then I'll come to you, Luke, and then I'll give you my 2 pennies worth as well.
I'm going to go. It's going to be a really tight game. I'm going to go 2-1 West Ham. I'm going to call Hernandez and Antonio scoring. And, yeah, that's how I see it.
What about you, Luke?
It's a tough one. It's a really tough one. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet. I just can't. I think from set pieces, West Brom will be too strong. And even if they don't score directly from a header, it might be a scrappy knockdown where, a defender can't clear it out properly, or Hart might drop a ball. I can see him doing it. I can see mistakes in that guy. I think if we do get a result, it'll be a draw. And I think it might be like last season at home, it'd be 2-2. I think, we've got that backing out. We can score goals, even lucky goals, which is we're going to need to score any goals. It doesn't matter if they're clean or if they're scrappy right now. But I think West Ham will get at least one goal. So maybe 2-2, and it'll be full of set pieces. I can't see there being much football in the game at all. So, yeah,
Yeah, well, I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go for 1-1. I think they're different gravy at the Hawthorns. I think they just know how to soak up the pressure. I think Pulis, obviously, we know what they're like from set pieces. Will we be able to deal with them all game long? I'm not too sure. I'm going to go for 1-1. I reckon they'll go one up and we'll nick it towards the end. I think Hernandez will score a equaliser or something like that. Fingers crossed we can get a win. I'd like to be as positive as Cess, but I can't be. It's West Brom. They took 4 points off us last year, didn't they?
This is the first time I've actually been positive with my actual predictions.
It's been one of them seasons, isn't it?
It's West Ham.
So far. It's West Ham, man.
Yeah. Right, well, there's nothing else to talk about, so I'm just, we could wrap this one up now. Everyone at home, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Thanks, Cess and Luke, for being on this one with me. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, make sure you're heading over to Fandangos. That's my YouTube channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button over there. All the links will be in the descriptions to our social sites. But until next time, we are Irons United.